Welcome to my channel. Today I am going to discuss about introduction to object oriented programming through C++. So before that, what is a language? Language is nothing but it is a way of communication between two persons or human beings using some communication medium. That communication medium is also known as interface. That is either English or Hindi or Telugu or any language. So it is a way of communication between two persons using some interface. Similar to that one, what is a programming language? The programming language is a way of communication between a person and system. System in the sense your computer. So a way of communication between person and a computer using some communication medium. That communication medium is referred as a programming language. The examples for programming language are C, C++, Java, Python, Perl, PHP, any language. So the programming language is nothing but it is a way of a communication between the person and computer. Generally, the programming languages or computer languages can be classified into three types: low level language, middle level language, and high level language. I will discuss one by one. Low level language. The example for low level languages is mission language. That is, a low level language is a mission friendly language. A language that is directly understood by the computer without any translation is called mission languages. Here, the term used is a translator. What is the use of translator? There are three translators. One is a compiler, second one is interpreter, and the third translator is assembler. If you are using assembly programming language, the assembler translator is used. Suppose if you are using high-level programming languages, the compiler and interpreter translators are used. But in machine language programming, a language that is directly understood by the computer without any translation. That is, here no need for translator, because the mission code or the mission language is a string of zeros and ones. It is also referred as mission code and object code. And it is referred as the first generation language. And it is the lowest level programming language. It uses binary code information in the form of zeros and ones. This is about a mission language. But the disadvantages of mission language programming are it is tough to understand and it is not easy to write a mission language program. It is complex to debug comparatively. It is a non-portable in the sense it is a mission dependent. So these are the disadvantages of low level language. But the advantage of this mission language is execution speed is more. That is fast processing time. This is the advantage of mission language because the computer directly understood the binary data in the form of zeros and ones. And second case, the middle level language. One example for middle level language is assembly language program. This is the second generation program. In some textbooks, the assembly language is also considered as a low level language program. But in some textbooks, the assembly language is referred as a middle level language program. When you are writing any assembly language program, you need to use one translator called assembler. What is the use of assembler? The assembler is used to convert your assembly language program into object program, which consists of zeros and ones. When you are writing any program in any language, you have to convert that high level language or middle level language program, you have to convert into object code, because the computer only recognizes zeros and ones. The assembly languages are just one level higher than mission language. The assembly language consists of special codes called mnemonics to represent the language instead of zeros and ones. So here the instructions are implemented by using special codes called mnemonics. These mnemonics are also known as operation codes and opcodes. Operation codes are opcodes. So opcode means which operation is to be performed. For example, if you want to perform addition of two numbers in assembly language program, you use the mnemonic called add. Similarly, if you want to perform subtraction of two numbers in assembly language program, you use sub. The sub, add, mul, jmp, jump, load are the examples for mnemonics. So if you are writing a program in assembly language, so you must use operation codes or opcode or mnemonics. The general form for assembly language is opcode, that is operation to be performed, operand 1 and operand 2. OR opcode source comma destination. For example, if you want to perform addition of two numbers, the mnemonic used is add. Add A comma B. Add is opcode and A and B are operands. So the description for that is adding the contents of A and B, and the result is stored in destination, that is B. So this is similar to B equal to A plus B. But in assembly language, it can be written as add A comma B. So all the instructions are implemented by using mnemonics. This is assembly language program. But when you are executing assembly language program, you need to use one translator called assembler. The assembler is used to convert the assembly language program into object program, that is strings of zeros and ones. And the third language is high level language. The shortcut is HLL. It represents high level language program. A high level language is a programming language designed to simplify computer programming. High level source code contains easy to read syntax that is later converted into low level language, which can be recognized and run by a specific CPU. It is more like a human language and less like a machine language. And the high level language is programmer friendly language. If you want to run and execute a high level language program, here also one translator is required. That translator is a compiler. So the compiler is used to convert your high level language source code into mission code, that means object code, which consists of zeros and ones. The first high level languages was introduced in 1950s. So there are many high level languages are there, including the C, C++, Fortran, Java, Pascal, Perl, PHP, Python, and so on. So if you want to execute any high level language program, you need to use one translator called compiler. And the advantages of high level language programming is less memory efficient, easy to understand, simple to debug, it is simple to maintain, and it needs compiler or interpreter for translation. This is about high-level languages. So see the picture, low-level language, middle-level language and high-level language. The low-level language is nothing but a mission language which uses ones and zeros to create instructions. Similarly, the assembly language uses mnemonics to create instructions. High-level language is nothing but it is similar to human language. The examples are Fortran, Basic, C and C++ and Java. And the figure is C equal to A plus B in high-level language. In assembly language, add A comma B. In mission language, it consists of either zeros or ones. So when you are writing any code in high-level language or assembly language, you need to convert that code into object code because the computer only recognizes object code. And observe this picture also, the low-level programming language and high-level programming language. So the advantage is processing time is fast in low-level programming language. Processing time is slow when compared to low-level language. That is, in high-level language programming, the processing time is slow when compared to low-level language. So in low-level language, the processing time is fast. That is, it directly executes the mission instructions. The computer directly executes the mission instructions, that is the zeros and ones. And other than the three types, low level, middle level and high level, there are two programming languages are there. One is structured programming and second one is object oriented programming. Structured programming is also referred as procedure oriented programming language or modular oriented programming language or functional oriented programming language. One example for structured programming is C programming language. In procedure oriented programming language or structured oriented programming language, the entire problem divides into smaller modules called functions or procedures. Each function has its own local data. There are two types of data. One is a local data and another one is a global data. The local data means the scope of local data is within the function. That is within the braces, opening brace and closing brace. So the second type is a global variable. It is declared outside the function. So when you are declaring any variable as a global, it can be accessible by other functions also. Okay. So in procedure oriented programming, the problem can be divided into smaller modules called functions. The program which solves the entire problem is a collection of such functions. And one major drawback of this procedure oriented language is that similar functions cannot be grouped inside a module or class. And the major disadvantage of using procedure programming as method of programming is the inability to reuse code throughout the program. That is, having to rewrite the same type of code many times throughout the program can add development cost and time of a project. And it is also difficult. It is also difficult in error checking. That is, in procedure-oriented programming, the code is continuously broken into smaller modules called functions or procedures. And with this approach, finding errors in the code becomes more difficult as the code gets longer and longer. Again, I repeat, With this procedure-oriented approach, finding errors in the code becomes more difficult as the code gets longer and longer. And what is C? The C is a structured programming language or procedure-oriented programming language. That means you can use C to create a list of instructions for a computer to follow. And C is a compiled language. What is a compiled language means? When you are writing any program in C language, you must run it through a C compiler to convert your C program code into executable code. Means that executable code means object code. And C is a procedure-oriented programming language or structured programming language. So, and C is a platform dependent. So see the figure. You are writing some code in C language. After that, compile that program using compiler. So the compiler converts your program, that is samp.c, and convert this program into executable code. The executable code is nothing but a mission code. The mission code, which consists of zeros and ones, directly understood by the computer. So this is the example. And in procedure-oriented programming, the entire problem or program can be divided into smaller modules called functions, and every function has its own data and global data. Already I discussed there are two types of data. One is local data and global data. So the scope of local data is within the function, and the global data is, or the global data can be accessible by all other functions. So see the figure. The main program, that is the program, can be divided into smaller modules called functions, that is function 1, function 2, function 3, function 4, so on, based on the requirement of the program. Right side figure. So there are three functions, function 1, function 2, function 3. Each function has its own local data, and every function uses the global data also. Most of the functions share the global data. Here, the data is moving freely from one function to other function easily. Thereby, the data is not hidden in procedure-oriented programming. So this is the relationship diagram between the data and functions in procedure-oriented programming. In procedure-oriented programming, what we observe is the data is moving freely from one function to other function, so that the data is not secure, means the data is not hidden. So every function can use the global data directly. So here the data is not hidden. So see, some of the characteristics exhibited by procedure-oriented programming are, it mainly focuses on functions, not data. That is, the entire program can be divided into smaller modules called functions. That is, it mainly focuses on functions. And most of the functions share global data, and the functions transform data from one form to other. And the procedure-oriented programming follows top-down approach. Top-down approach means divides the entire problem into number of modules, that is specific, general to specific, general case to specific case. These are the disadvantages. So the disadvantage is the data is not secure in procedure-oriented programming language. That is, the data is not hidden. The data is moving freely from one function to other function. And next, the language is object-oriented programming language. Here, to avoid the disadvantages of procedure-oriented programming, the object-oriented programming comes into existence. The shortcut is OOP, object-oriented programming. It refers to a programming methodology based on objects. Instead of functions and procedures, it is based on objects. So In this object-oriented programming, the entire problem can be decomposed into smaller entities called objects. And each object contains two properties. One is a data and functions. And these objects are organized into classes which allow individual objects to be grouped together. So see the figure. The object-oriented programming contains data and functions. Each function can access the data within the object. Okay? Each function can access the data within the object only. So that here the data is hidden in object-oriented programming. The data is secure. Why the data is secure? The data is secured in terms of or by the use of access specifiers. This is the term used in object-oriented programming, access specifiers. There are three access specifiers in object-oriented programming. One is private, second one is public, and third one is protected. These are the three access specifiers used in object-oriented programming. The object contains two properties. One is data and the other one is functions. If you want to declare your data as a private, only member functions in that particular object can access the data directly. The data is not accessible by other functions. So this is the case in object-oriented programming. See the characteristics, that is, it mainly focuses on data, not functions. In procedure-oriented programming, it focuses on functions, that means algorithms or functions or procedures. But in object-oriented programming, it focuses on data, not functions. The entire program can be divided into smaller entities called objects. The data is hidden and cannot be accessed by external functions. How the objects are communicated? The objects are communicated with each other through functions only. And one more important point is new data and functions can be easily added whenever necessary. It is not possible in procedure-oriented programming. So new data and functions can easily be added whenever necessary. This is the case in object-oriented programming. And what is C++? The C++ is an object-oriented programming language. C++ is an object-oriented programming language. The language was created, designed, and developed by computer scientist called Bjarne Stroudsab at Bell Labs. Presently, it is Nokia Bell Labs in Murray Hill, New Jersey. So the creator of C++ was Bjarne Stroudsab. So the C++ is an object-oriented programming language and high-level programming language. So whenever you are writing any program in C++, here also you need to use one translator called C++ compiler. So again, the compiler converts your C++ program into object code or mission code, which consists of zeros and ones. So it is a flexible and dynamic language, which is similar to C language with all its features, and additionally some more features are added. So initially the language is C with classes and was renamed as C++ in 1983. Initially it is known as C with classes and later it was renamed as C++ in 1983. So observe what is C++. Suppose plus is an increment operator. So what is the use of increment operator? The increment operator is used to increment the value of a variable by 1. If you consider x equal to x plus 1, that is, you can add the existing value of x with additional value, that is 1. Okay, similar to or observe that case C++ that is equal to C plus 1. So along with the C characteristics or features, he is adding some more features to C, that is C++. So along with the C concepts, he is adding more additional features to C language. Those features are object-oriented features. What are object-oriented features? Those are inheritance, data abstraction, polymorphism, dynamic binding, message passing, so on. These are the object-oriented features additionally added in C++. So all C programs are executed in C++ also, but all C++ programs are not executed in C. This is the case. And some of the advantages of object-oriented programming: it is faster and easier to execute, and it gives a clear structure of a program, and OOP helps to keep the C++ code dry. Dry is nothing but don't repeat yourself. That means it eliminates the redundant code. It eliminates the redundant code, and it is possible to add new functions and data whenever necessary. That is, it is possible to create a full reusable applications with less code and shorter development time. And lastly, the benefits of object-oriented programming are, so one of the important feature of object-oriented programming is inheritance. Through that inheritance, we can eliminate redundant code and extend the use of existing classes. Inheritance is nothing but acquiring the properties from one object to other. For example, you can inherit some properties from your father or mother, and additionally you can add some more features to that particular one. That is inheritance concept. So through inheritance, we can eliminate redundant code and extend the use of existing classes. And second important feature is data hiding. That is, the data is hidden in object-oriented programming. That is, the data is more secure. And it is easy to partition the work in a project based on objects. Already we know that the entire problem can be decomposed into smaller entities called objects. Those objects are implemented in object-oriented programming through a special data structure called classes. Okay? And object-oriented system easily upgraded from small to large systems. And the complexity can be easily managed. So these are the benefits of object-oriented programming over procedure-oriented programming. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, like, and share my video.